Testing 1 2 3. Are we coming in clear? Welcome to your episode of Lessons in Deeper Wisdom. It's me, Higher Thought, and I also have Nashan in the building. So we're going to give our rendition of our wisdom talks here. I promise they won't be boring like
You know
this.
what? You know what? That's not a good sell, man. You gotta come with some more enthusiasm. We are here. We're gonna bring the wisdom to you. We're gonna make it happen today.
Yes.
We're gonna enlighten your mind today.
Maybe we should just have AI do it. I don't know.
No, AI.
Look at AI. AI does everything else now. So
AI is gonna take over the world.
I mean, because we're not doing a good enough job here. We're not doing a good enough job. So we have to get replaced with AI. And there'll be AI hosts, and we'll have like our own avatars.
No, there won't. Everybody keeps saying that, and it kills me that people are saying that.
But then we could just be an avatar, and then we could watch ourselves.
Watch imitations of ourselves.
Yeah,
that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen either.
Okay.
For instance, I can tell you right now, it's very difficult for me to picture like AI taking over, the things that we love, because a lot of it is just ridiculous. I mean, the simple nature of human experience is that most of the things that we either think about or believe in or find funny are just downright ridiculous.
Yeah, it also ties into the show Ridiculousness. Shout out to that, because MTV will play that like it's its only TV show. Maybe it's only TV show. Who knows? But it's funny.
I get caught up in it. I have sit up here and watched hours of, much to my wife's chagrin, I've gotten caught up watching hours of ridiculousness because it's just hilarious to watch people be dumb.
But you know what's wild though? I don't think I've ever seen an episode twice.
I can't say that I haven't. I've seen a lot, but I think the very nature of like that show speaks to why technology and AI is not going to replace us. It can't. You can't mimic the ridiculousness of humans.
No, you can't. We only humans can human like we do.
You know what I'm saying? So
only humans can human like we do.
So I guess the question is, why are people so afraid of technology?
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. I would say people are afraid of technology because of its. You know what? Let me rephrase that, because I think that there is a fear of technology, but I think the fear is misplaced.
Really? Do elaborate, my friend.
I think it's misplaced, and I think I'm not saying that you should have any fear at all, because I don't think you should. Mm-hmm. But if you were to place that type of thought somewhere, it would just be that technology falling into the hands of the wrong people,
bad actors,
or lower minds is not a great thing.
That is true. I would agree with you on that. I guess most people, though, like right now, this huge AI scare. Everybody's just terrified that Skynet's going to take over, and it's going to.
Well, if it's going to take over, somebody has to push the button for it to.
Well, no, I mean that's the whole point. If AI gets to a level of advancement, they say, then it'll push its own button, and it'll just decide.
Well, who told it? Who gave it? Who coded it to decide?
It coded itself.
Who coded it to code itself?
Well, we did. That's what we're doing now.
So we have to push the buttons.
Well, I guess this is my thing, and I understand why people are afraid of technology, because, like, at least I think I do. It's the fear of change. Like, they used to say that that any new technology, even pick a generation, was going to end the world. It's going to be the end of everything. Nuclear weapons are going to end the world. Well, they didn't. They made some nasty impact, but they didn't end the world. And I think they said that television is going to end the world. It's going to end reading.
Wait a minute. They said that television was going to.
Well, it was
a thought.
Well, it was going to dumb down the population to the point where nobody could think anymore. And it's like,
well, okay, if we're going to be real.
If we're going to be real, we are no dumber than we have ever been as humans.
I would say that TV has become one of the best distractions ever created.
I will agree with you on that. That is for sure a great distraction. But here's the thing. You also have to look at the correlation. The invention of new technologies and conveniences that make life generally easier for most people have a tendency to reduce violence. because we get distracted with things like TV and TikTok and, the PS5 and all of the distractions that we get. So we have what the Romans used to have, games where people would actually kill each other. We have video games where no one's getting hurt and we can be distracted. So I think the fear of the technology is that not that it's going to end the world, but it's going to end the world as these individuals know it. And that is an accurate fear, because it is going to end the world as people know it.
It is. And I mean, but that's across the board with a lot of things. The world that we're living in now is crumbling and building itself up into something completely different and new.
Absolutely.
I mean, times change, paradigms shift, empires fall. And
people don't like change. We like stability. We like to think we know what is. And if, when technology comes along and just completely usurps your whole way of thinking, your whole livelihood, it's terrifying. Like the best thing I've heard was that I am sure that the last person to make the buggy whip made the best damn buggy whip in the world, but no one bought it because buggies went out of style. The technology changed, and that's how things work. There's a lot of things in the industry right now that are going to go away. Automation really almost killed the manufacturing in our country. So the fears are legitimate, but what do you do about them is the question, I guess.
Yeah, no, I am a person who I don't fear it. It excites me. Like,
healthy fear sometimes. Okay, I don't want people walking around scared, but fear is an excellent motivator.
It is an excellent motivator. I feel like maybe I don't necessarily have the fear that some people have because I enjoy technology. Mm-hmm. I like being able to use technology as a tool, not necessarily as something that I have to rely on.
Right.
So like if the power went out, I'm fine. Like
right.
I can make my own fire to cook. We have to deal with the water thing and all of that, but I can fend for myself. You know what I mean? But also when it comes to like technology, it's like it's helping us. We're advancing into what I would say is an easier world.
I agree with you. I don't want to promote the idea of being afraid of technology. I am a fan of technology. I was in IT for 20 some odd years. Love tech. My issue is I understand where people come. When people are afraid of it, they're afraid because they have a lack of that knowledge that you have of how to function without it, or they have a fear that whatever it is that they are comfortable with or used to is going to go away because of this new technology. So, for instance, like if you're an individual and you're in the automotive industry, when they brought in the robot arms and everything, people were terrified that they were going to replace all the workers, and they replaced some, but not all. And because you still need a human to feed the machine. The machines are not nearly as advanced as we have in our sci-fi books and sci-fi games and whatnot, because who reads anymore? But it's like this. They said that it was terrible for kids to be inside playing video games all the time, and that kids never go outside. Well, they do. They just don't go outside as much. And the reason we went outside so much, in my generation at least, was because there was nothing else to do. There was nothing to do in the house. If I had a PS5 when I was a young kid, I guarantee you I wouldn't have left the house either. So
it's hard to. You got a PlayStation 5.
Are you kidding me? They got Spider-Man 2 out. Why do I need to go outside and play with a stick? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just something different. Because, I mean, go back 300 years. There was no go outside and play. It was go outside and work the field all day so we could farm and have something to eat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It was work to live.
You know what I'm saying? It was work to live. There was very little recreation. There was, coordinated events like, when the town got together to say, okay, today we're going to take the day off and actually relax. But life was much harder back then. So, I mean, we take for granted the benefits of technology, even though it does have its disadvantages. There's some scary things about technology. the idea of AI actually taking over is a real thing. But, you always got to count on greed,
And that's where the problem therein becomes, because it's the people who are, I guess, the power players in this technology and AI world are, more times than not, slightly, maybe, possibly greedy people.
Greedy, a little evil?
Possibly, your moo ha 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 ha's in there and all of that, your evil geniuses. Speaking of which...
I know who you're going. I know where you're going. I know where you're going with this.
Speaking of which, one of my favorite evil geniuses to follow is Elon Musk.
Mr. I'm going to change the world himself.
Yeah.
But doesn't want to change his own mind.
Whether people think he's a genius or not is whatever, neither here nor there. Whether he's evil or not, also...
I don't think he's evil.
Up to people's discretion, decision, whatever.
I don't think the man is evil.
Somebody has to play the character.
Well, okay. See, evil implies malice. And I don't think there's any malice. It's just sort of like, if you're in a room alone all the time and, you keep making decisions you think are the best decisions, and you're going to think that they're the best decisions. You're going to think I'm right. And if you have nothing but people around you telling you that you're right all the time, then you think you're the smartest person on earth.
Or can't think of anything better.
Right.
It could not even be that you're wrong. They just can't think of anything better.
Right. And there's no one to challenge your ideas or challenge your way of thinking. So you have no reason to change. You have no reason to think differently. So you become corrupted by your own thoughts. You begin to think you're right all the time, even when you're wrong, even when you're heading in the wrong direction. So that's his issue, I think, in my opinion, is that not that he's evil. No one ever tells him he's wrong.
Well, I think he would disagree with anybody who told him he was wrong anyway. So.
Absolutely, he would. And he's got enough money to fire you or buy your company and run it into the ground if he thinks you're wrong.
Maybe he can. Elon, you tell us. I don't know. What do you think? Since you are Elon himself, you tell it. Or are you an AI?
He's not an AI. No, I think.
Let me chill out for the conspiracy theorists.
They gonna get on that,
Yeah, I love it. I love the theories and whatnot. They're fun to look at, but what he's doing with Neuralink, is very.
I'm excited, man.
It's like out of a movie.
Okay,
it's like out of a movie. Like it's been tried, it's been done, but we're in like a super technology age right now, and it's like when they did the first Neuralink thing, it's like, all right, it's happening. Whether we like it or not, whether it's good or bad, even, throwing it out the window. Oh, we're like here. Technology is advancing, and it has advanced way further than we probably think.
Yeah.
So
I can tell you that for sure. Okay, having carried a top secret speak at B clearance on one occasion, I can tell you right now, it's advanced far greater than we as civilians are allowed to know.
Yeah, and so it's like the things that you can get off the shelf now, technology-wise, are kind of archaic.
No, yeah, anything that you get on the commercial market is 20 to 25 years old. That's So think of the most advanced thing that just came out. It's 20 to 25 years old as far as the government is concerned. So, I mean...
Like when we got smartphones, when the iPhone was a 3G, or when the 3G, 3GS first came out, it was like, oh, finally, they're letting us have it.
Yeah, they've had it for generations. Like they've had like the fun part is like there's a chip that came out in I think it was 2010, and it was the Intel 10 or something like that, and everybody was so tripped out about it, and then they accidentally announced that NASA was using like 5 generations higher chip, and then they squashed the article because they use way better equipment than we have. Most of it's classified because it'll destroy anything in the commercial market, period. So
which now that is scary. in a
Honestly,
good way.
not.
No, like it was like a good scale. Like, oh wow, that's huge. Like,
well, you have to think of where we're headed, and you know, you ever heard of the Kardashev scale?
explain.
Kardashev scale is I think it's the right word, but it's basically the scale of different types of civilizations, and you have a type 0 civilization, which is us, type 1 civilization, which has harnessed all of the energy of its planet, which means all of its natural resources and sunlight and all that and wind, and then you have your type 2 civilization, which has harnessed all of the energy of its solar system, which means the star, which means we've got we pull energy directly from the sun. We can go to other planets in our solar system and get energy from those and whatnot.
We haven't reached that yet.
No, we're 1,000 years out from that.
Have not reached that yet. Collectively, we have a lot of work to do.
Well, I mean, the spike has stopped in technology because we were on this trajectory, like straight up for like a lot of years, and we're starting to level off as far as technology is concerned because we were advancing too quickly, and it was causing people to become too afraid. But like with Neuralink, where is that headed? You have to look at all the different pieces, because if you pay attention, all the pieces are there. You just have to piece them together. The Rockefellers talked about this 20 years ago, where they're going to chip everybody and everybody's going to be digital currency and so on and so forth. So now you've got digital currency over here. You've got the Apple, goggle thing coming out.
That.
Right.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one.
Enhanced reality. Yeah. Enhanced reality. You got Neuralink over here. Okay. And you got, Bitcoin and all of these digital currencies and all this stuff going on. The path is set. So now you're going to spend another, 20, 50 years with this as it starts to perfect its technology. But there's also and this is the one that's the coolest for me anyway. They have this, what do you call it? A contact lens. It's like one of the smallest computers, but it's a contact lens that actually fits over your eye, but it augments your reality. And it has a little Wi-Fi thing in it that connects to, whatever you're connected to, your phone or whatever else. Now imagine that tied to a Neuralink, tied to your
Cyborg.
Bitcoin. Basically, you're looking at people who are going to be integrated with the machines that we operate through.
The transhumanism agenda.
Exactly.
So, yeah, which is where we're headed. This is why I call Elon one of those evil geniuses.
He's a tool.
But yeah, he's just that. He's in that archetype zone of one of those people who will be prominent when we talk about this in history, right? And
I think he's gonna crash and burn personally. I think he's gonna crash and burn.
But his impact will be there.
I think there's going to be he's gonna have a footnote for sure. But I think he's going to be an example of what not to be. I think he's going to be like, this is what happens when you're out of control and you got a lot of money, because he's mentally out of control. When you can't talk to an individual without them going off on some tangent about how great they are, Kanye, then
Kanye is great.
Kanye is an extraordinary musician.
Yeah,
he's also very much insane. He's an insane person.
I won't disagree.
Okay, anytime you find yourself as a black man agreeing with Hitler, you're probably missed the plot at that point. You lost the plot at that point. And that's sort of my point, is like, if you look at these people who get to a certain level of, of monetary, achievement, there's people stop telling them no. People stop questioning what they do. They just assume, oh, you're a genius, so you got to know what you're doing. And that's not healthy. So you end up with someone who thinks that they're right, and they cross over that line from genius to insane person. And that's the dangerous part. And these people with all this money, they are the same people who come up with these brilliant ideas that will advance technology, 20 years in a week. They're also the same people who will create that technology and blow themselves up, or somebody else with it, because they're not sane anymore.
Probably not.
I don't think that Elon is a bad person. I think he's just not sane anymore. That's all. He walked into his building with a kitchen sink.
I mean,
I'm just at that point. I mean, come on.
Elon is very Elon. He's very Elon.
But he's not the problem, though.
Oh no, I never said he was the problem. I like the role that he's playing.
Right.
I like the role that he's
Right.
playing.
Right.
But even with the Apple, what is it called?
The what do you call it?
The vision goggles.
Yeah, well, it's a headset you wear, and it's augmented reality goggles, I think, as they call them.
So that is like, to me, that's like the helmet from the Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
That's essentially kind of what that is in a way. Or it's like having Jarvis.
Yeah, it's a HUD. It's a heads-up display.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I mean, the cool
Now-
part's going to be when they integrate that with like not Steve Jobs, but head of Microsoft. I'm blanking on his name.
I know you're not thinking of. I don't think he's the head of Microsoft anymore, but Bill.
Yeah, Bill Gates. Sorry, his name blanked on me. But he's got a smart house that basically he can communicate with when he walks in, and anything, it's like Alexa hooked into the whole house, and anything you want, you can change with, a word. Well, once you have the Neuralink in, well, you don't have to say it. You just think it, and stuff happens. TV comes on, bathwater starts, dinner starts cooking. You know what I'm saying?
But is it safe to say that we can do that naturally anyway?
We've moved too far away from what we are. And we've been convinced to find sources outside of ourselves to do those things. If we were to develop that, go back to what we were naturally, well then yeah, you wouldn't need any extra device. And I think, to be honest, this may be a bridge back to that.
I want to say, do you see this as a bridge back to that, or do you feel like it'll go two ways where people will run towards that, and then some people will see that and notice it and then run back the other way?
I think you're going to end up with two camps: those who embrace it and those who reject it. And the Luddites are going to be the people who reject it. They're going to go, I will not accept this new technology. And they're going to try to go all natural. I mean, you have that now with survivalists and stuff like that who are off the grid and I'll never, interact with that 5G mind programming thing. I'm like, they don't need to program you through the 5G. They got all kinds of other ways of doing it. But I think you'll get two camps. And in the middle will be everybody else who's just going to be like, well, it's just what it is. Ultimately, I think the human race will integrate with machines.
For sure.
To
If not
augment life.
already have. I mean, we're already seeing people getting into the habit of, I wouldn't say the habit, like we're having surgery to change parts of you is becoming more of a norm.
Yeah.
And that's just across the board for all kind of, surgeries. And some people want to get their face done. The BBL is the popular, like it's
BBL, baby.
It's now the new, like, it's almost kind of like gearing up for the technology human merger to be the popular surgery.
Well, that I think that's going to happen as well. But I think what's going to end up happening more so than, sooner than that, because some people don't like pain and they don't want to go through the effort of all that. You're going to end up with avatars. Like the same as you have an avatar in a game, you're going to have one in real life. You're going to have like a robot that represents you, that you interface with. I mean, think of it from this perspective. The people they're starting with are paraplegics and people who need augmented physical activity through the Neuralink. Now, you patch that into a full-fledged robot. Well, I don't need my body at this point. Now my mind is controlling this robot and I experience things through this robot. That's coming.
Man, it's like you're explaining spirituality backwards.
Right. Exactly.
Well, it's the mirror effect.
Well, again, we duplicate that which we are. Mm-hmm. Okay, it resonates. So like in the fact that we are the echoes of our spiritual world, the mechanical world will become the echo of our biological world. So they're going to interface. They already do, and they're going to augment. They're going to augment our experience through now a mechanical interface versus the biological interface, which has its limits.
Man,
imagine now that if you had the ability to comprehend, you can, or because of like right now, NASA takes most of the pictures you take from NASA don't have color in the way that we would experience it, because it doesn't compensate for spectrums of light that we can't see visually. So they color them in a certain way in order to represent them when you see pictures of them. That's a process that's been going on since NASA's been doing pictures. Now imagine you have a robotic interface that does that for you. So you can now see into the infrared spectrum. You can now see wavelengths of light that we can't see.
They did have the latest telescope that they have should be able to see infrared.
Well, you can. The James Webb telescope can see it, but we can't interpret it as it is.
Okay, so that's the disconnect. Right. Is the actual ability to
our eyes
interpret
can't.
What it is. What
our eyes can't.
Yeah, because we can't. We only see 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. So
I think it's 5, but yeah, I think it's a very small percentage.
Like
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But if you saw all of it, it would just be noise. You wouldn't be able to see differentiation between different things if you saw every.
Because there's no separation.
Exactly. You have to filter it out, or else there's no separation between things, and we're just walking in a soup of white light.
Which we kind of are.
We are, but we like seeing
definition.
Each other. Exactly. we like seeing each other and seeing things and doing stuff.
The third definition. There you go. Third dimensional definition.
And that's what I mean is like I don't fear technology. It's inevitable. Okay, because of the way humans progress and the way we think. That technology is going to alter who we are and how we live. That's what we do. So I don't fear it, and I don't think people should fear it. I think people should embrace it. And if you do so, at the same time, recognize its dangers. There are dangers to nuclear weapons. Excuse me. Right now, if every nuclear weapon went off at the same time, it would blow Earth off its orbit, off its axis. The Earth would be gone, which is why they don't blow up nuclear weapons anymore. They do very limited testing, and we don't fight with nuclear weapons because that would be bad for everyone. But we don't necessarily know the dangers of it until we do it and then go, oh, that's bad. That's really bad. So I don't think that the things that we're afraid of now are any different than the things that people used to be afraid of. When there was only radio, people were afraid of TV. When the internet came out, they said it was going to be it was going to be a fad, and then it was going to be the destruction of mankind.
Yeah, I will say from what I have seen in my short amount of earthing time here, I feel like my generation was able to see both the analog and the digital age come about.
Yeah.
So I remember the tube TVs where you had to turn the I remember those knobs. Like I remember the TV being like that. I remember
with the antenna on top. You gotta click the thing.
You have to sit a certain kind of way just to get a signal.
Stand next to the TV.
It was weird. Or I remember when the premier gaming system was the PlayStation 1 and or before that the N64, and before that
the Commodore VIC-20, bro. The Commodore VIC-20 with Adventureland, the cartridge games and all that.
Man, cartridge games.
Yeah.
To think if it doesn't work, take it out.
You got to blow on it. That makes it work better.
Somehow that worked. Somehow that was the magic trick.
You blow on it, it works better.
Yeah, and to now see what games are, and it's like, I had someone ask me, older, asked me about the place. I was like, what's the difference between the digital one and the non-digital one? It's like, well, the non-digital version, you actually have to buy the disc, but that also takes up space. And the digital one, you just download it from the cloud. And then that's how now you get your game.
Well, I mean, if you look at just the difference between games, I mean, now you have I don't know if you've seen that Matrix demo that they did, where you actually go into the game and you can interact and talk to the AIs, that there's AIs powering the general people walking on the street. So you can go and walk up to somebody on the street and have a conversation with them. I mean, like a for real conversation. And then they've got the Make Human character generator, where you can go you can zoom in so close you can see their pores in their skin. That's how detailed it is.
Unreal. Yeah, but as wild to even see the graphics of stuff come that far from where we once were, like where everything looked like paper mache moving in motion, and it's sometimes undistinguishable from real life if you're just taking a quick glance.
Well, right. And couple that with like 11 Labs. 11 Labs does the voice version of AI. So now you can take a sample of somebody's voice and then have the AI analyze it, and then it'll actually speak in their voice.
You don't have
to
It takes away a lot of voice acting.
Well, that's what the whole strike was about. You can, if you have somebody's likeness, you can literally duplicate them in a digital way and with voice and mannerisms, the whole nine, and then you don't need them, and you don't need to pay the actor anymore.
Yeah, shout out to that Black Mirror episode.
I'm with that.
Yeah, Black Mirror did an episode on that where they had, there was like somebody that was like watching themselves, their life on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it was a character playing that person, and they was like, oh, they kind of look like you, this and that or whatever. But then it was like the character was actually an AI of the actual actor. So it was just like a whole circular thing. And it was just like, wow, like that. But it was also in the terms and conditions of how things go. And they can use your likeness and whatnot. So
well, that's what that whole actor strike was about, was like, yeah, that's not for real. You're not doing that. And it was not without paying the actors. And they're if you're talking about how you're going to entertain the masses, you can do that in the short term, okay, because you can take somebody's personality and whatever. But in the long term, you cannot beat human ingenuity. Humans invented one of the greatest things that has ever existed and has stayed a human thing for the longest time: the fart joke. It's the dumbest thing on earth. It's a natural biological function that every single person on earth can actually relate to, and that's why it's funny. There's no way AI would even be able to comprehend how to create something like that, because it has no human experience. And that'll always be the gulf between AI and humans. They cannot duplicate an actual human experience.
I mean, well, AI also doesn't have a funny bone.
Yeah, I got that. But that's what I mean. Like, technology is scary in the beginning because it's different, it's new. But ultimately, what it is our fear of change, our fear of losing control. This whole fear of AI thing is about people being afraid that we're going to lose control of our planet. Well, here's what you got to do. You have a fear of AI, and AI ever becomes an actual problem, put off one EMP, and AI is gone forever.
Yeah.
And I mean, turn off your computer. It's all voluntary. The moment you stop interacting with it, the AI stops having any real power. And that's really what it comes down to, is, again, us forgetting how much power we have as individuals and as a society.
Welcome to Halftime. Give yourself and your mind a moment to rest. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. And slow, deep breath out through the mouth. Focus only on your breath. Take another slow, deep breath in. And another slow, deep breath out. Feel better? Good. We want to take this moment to thank you for listening and watching this podcast. We hope you take something positive from it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment your light bulb moments. We also want to thank one of our biggest sponsors that make this podcast possible, Podcastic. Check them out at podcasticlife.com. Back to the wisdom. Yeah, I also think where technology is going, it's going to revolutionize what we know the internet to be.
Yeah. And
social media, especially.
It's becoming a new world.
Yeah. And so the way that we connect is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to see a lot of people go into certain groups. Like there's going to be a lot more groups that form.
Factioning.
Yeah. You're going to see a lot of factions that form, a lot of groups, and a lot of them will be formed around central ideas.
rather than geographic location.
Yep. And so, which will be an interesting society to see because it kind of runs opposite to how things work right now.
Things are going to break. And that's when you start seeing revolutions in technology, you look for a societal break at various levels. Right now, if I had to place my bet would be on China's going to break first. Because if you look at their technology, it's integrated into social controls. So a lot of their Facebook type app isn't just Facebook, it's a bunch of different apps together, but it literally gives the government the ability to track everything about you and the way you talk to your friends and what you say and keywords and all that. And what it does is it tracks how loyal you are to their country. And the least loyal you are, the less privileges you have, and they can literally shut you off for various aspects of society.
Social credit system.
Right. That much control will be broken by that sort of, because everything that gets created has an underground. The dark web was created when the internet was created. So there's going to be a underground version of this new world that's budding. And when it happens, societies that are based off of those sorts of controls are going to break because you're going to have AI create a virus that'll just straight up eat up that control.
And it's interesting that you say it like that because I can kind of see it happening just within people, right? Where you can see the rumors of people looking at celebrity different now even. So it's a lot of people, you're not going to be able to get clout the same way that you used to.
Nope.
Authenticity is going to be very important.
Well, because people can see past the illusions now. That whole persona that you created online that isn't real gets reported in your hairdresser talking about what you threw at them, or going online and videotaping you without when you're not with your makeup on or when you're not in front of the spotlight, so you get to see the real person.
Yeah, the real you.
Yeah,
the real you.
Real recognize real, and it's going to become vitally important as privacy sort of disappears.
Which it will.
Oh yeah,
it is, and
it's
sooner than you think. Like yesterday,
I'm gonna tell you right now, privacy's gone. It's an illusion. There's nothing that you actually do in the digital world that isn't recorded.
Well, a computer records every click.
Alexa listens to everything you say. So does Google. So they listen.
Google. What Ask Jeeves is listening.
They're all listening to us.
But no, they really are.
Yeah,
I mean. Yes, all of your information is being compiled right now by multiple giant servers. And
with AIs running them.
Held by government entities and non-government entities.
Corporations.
So that's...
people don't know that the police can turn your phone on anytime they want to. Like, oh, no, I turned it off. Well, no, your microphone's still active. And they can still tap into it. I mean, they can turn your phone on and off at a distance if they want to. If you go to one of the things they tell you, if you go to China or Russia, the moment your plane gets into their airspace and the Wi-Fi on the plane is connected to your phone, the moment you get into their airspace, it relays that information to the nearest cell phone tower, which takes all your information. So they tell you if you're going to one of these countries, expect your information to be gone. Because the moment you step foot in the airport, it's already gone. They've already snatched it.
But what if I was trying to be a spy?
Well, see, tradecraft, as they call it, already knows this, so you wouldn't bring in anything digital that you didn't want them to see. So it would be you wouldn't come into the country unless you already had misinformation already programmed into your stuff. So I mean, you have to understand the level. Most people don't fully comprehend the level of technology we are already at, much less what we could potentially do, which is why they fear, what they think is coming. I'm not worried about what's coming.
Yeah, which to me, and I have zero fear that these countries are going to use nukes. I think we have evolved way past using nuclear weapons.
There's no need.
We're capable of doing some unthinkable things.
Oh yeah,
that have been thought and that have been done. Actually, maybe on smaller scales to where you don't or can't hear about it, but they've been done.
Think of it this way: about 3 days ago, the the United States government struck against the individuals who killed 3 American soldiers in the Middle East. They did that from 33,000 miles away. They sent 2 bombers, supersonic bombers, escorted by jets, fighter bombers that are invisible to radar. There was no way to even see it coming, much less do anything about it once you did. They hit 85 targets in a night, accurately. They pinpointed it to the point where they could hit a particular room in a building.
Now that is terrifying.
I mean, come on.
But also kind of cool, but terrifying. Terrifyingly cool.
Our special forces right now, one of the things that if you watch the war in Iraq and if you watch what our special forces do, one of the things that they do right now is when they go into a particular area, one of the first things they do is pop up a little, looks like almost a paper plane type of thing, but it's a drone. And it just flies up and watches everything. And it's on Overwatch. So they see where everybody is long before they ever go into an area. And then they go in and they shoot whoever they got to shoot and move on with their day. People don't get how much control is already in place. And I know, last story, Boston Marathon bombing. What people were very fascinated about was the bombing. They were like, oh, it's terrible. It was a terrible thing. And it was a terrible thing. What terrified me wasn't the bombing. It was the fact that within 30 minutes, the United States government shut down entrance and access to the entire city of Boston, took control of every cell phone and every freaking CCT camera in the city within 30 minutes. Every cell phone and every camera in the city within 30 minutes. That should terrify everybody. Okay? The bombing was bad. The fact that they could track them down within 2 days or within a couple of days, and that it could shut down an American city within 30 minutes, that should bug you.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know what I'm saying?
Just a little bit. Just a little tiny smidge of a bit.
I guess when I tell people don't be afraid of technology, I'm like, don't be afraid of technology. Be afraid of humans. So if you ever want to know what technology is going to do, just go back to human nature. What are humans going to do? Humans protect their own. Humans are greedy. Humans sometimes are violent. You have to understand humans in order to understand what technology is going to become. So don't be afraid of the tech. Be afraid of the humans and what they're going to do with the tech.
So my thing, so when I noticed this the other day, a friend of mine has a new vehicle, right? And I got to go for a ride in it, and I was trying to get out of the car, and I realized there is no handle on the inside, right, to get out. There's no handle. There's just a button. Like, there's like the little spot where you can stick your hand in, what it looks like, but there's a button to actually open the door versus just a handle. And I said, they're doing too much sometimes. Sometimes, I mean, I get it. It's cool. But maybe it's the old man in me, you know, but why not just have a handle? Because say something electrical goes wrong.
You're trapped in your car.
You're trapped. Or what can you, it's not as simple anymore as it used to be. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some kind of fail safe in there to where if that happens, you can still get out the car.
There's a handle somewhere.
Yeah. So, but to have that to be the primary mode of I get it. It's cool. It's technology. That's where we are. It's the future. But I too also have been in the world of automotive design. I have designed car parts, both interior and exterior. No.
Yeah. Well, and
to me, it's just, why are we doing that?
Because we can. And that's
all. It's because we can.
Exactly. And that's human nature. We do it because we can do it. And that's, if you understand that, then you'll understand that there's nothing to be afraid of. Because here's the thing, what's going to happen is going to happen. It doesn't matter. There are people who've been trapped in mechanical cars. There have been people who, you know what I'm saying? It's going to happen. The Tesla
thing too. Tesla has been catching a lot of flack for a lot of instances like that.
Well, they're going fast on this whole development thing, and that truck is so ugly. Oh my God, it's ugly.
Well, they didn't say it would be the most beautiful thing on the road.
That is true.
They never said that.
I saw one stuck in the snow the other day.
Yeah,
Freaking hilarious.
I don't think Tesla is on the market for beauty.
No, they're on the market for advancement. And, and if speaking of advancement, the one thing that I'm looking forward to that just got the green light was they're going to be marketing the first flying cars within the next 20 to 30 years. And I mean, like, legit, you get in it, I want to go to work, and it flies you to work.
How do you regulate that?
They're going to be regulating airspace around cities. It'll be in cities first, obviously, and you're going to have special licenses and special, lanes of which it can travel and all that. And it won't be anything you can control. So it won't be like, okay, I'm going to go and fly to work. It's going to be like, I get in, I push a button, and I GPS it, and it flies me to that location.
Can you run out of gas midair?
It's electrical.
Run out of power?
No. If it doesn't have enough power to make the destination, it won't fly.
How do you deal with a crash, an accident?
Same way they did that plane crash that happened the other day.
Man, that to me just, I don't know.
I'm ready for that.
I don't know.
I'm ready for flying cars.
I want to see flying cars, and because I want to be able to get in my UFO and do what I feel like doing, go where I want to go. So that way I'm not looked at funny. You know what I mean? And they taking videos of my UFO. No, you get in your flying car and you take that to where you want to go. This is not anything weird. Leave me in my UFO alone.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is like it's the unknown that scares us, because I get questions all the time about like, do you think there's aliens? Yeah. Do you think the government has? Yeah. Okay. Why do you think they'd spend this much money covering things up for them to not have it? No.
But to me, it's the very loud secrets.
Well, yeah. These are things that we already know to be true, but
they're waiting on them to say that it's true. But
they already said it.
I feel like they already have.
They had a congressional hearing.
They've been saying it, and they're saying it even more now with putting some debates in your face.
What I've been freaking out about is what I've been freaking out about is that people, they flat out said it in Congress. They flat out said it, okay, that they have it, and nobody freaked out about it, which is what they were waiting for. It's not them waiting for the government. It's the government waiting for us to not, freak out if we see an alien. You know what I mean? Like, for real.
But the crazy part is a lot of us probably have already seen one.
Of course we have.
So, but I think our concept and idea of what alien is, and I don't want this to shift the entire conversation.
I know, right? I know.
But like our concept and idea of what alien is, and it's supposed to look like, and it's supposed to behave like, and how that should come about in society is very warped.
Well, we think it should behave like us.
Well, then it wouldn't be alien.
Well, exactly. Well, I mean,
but you're also talking about, we also look at things from a very human-centered point of view, and a very, and I caution how I use this term, very three-dimensional thinking, right?
Yeah.
We very rarely see ourselves outside of this, having this meat suit, right? But we're actually beyond that, at least within my belief. We are beyond that. And we don't always look from the state of being beyond that. So when you can't see yourself as being beyond this meat suit, it's tough to see anything else outside of that, which you've probably been interfacing with aliens telepathically for how long?
I hear you on that. I guess this stems back to the whole, why are people afraid of technology? It's because we're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of something that is foreign and unknown to us that we can't control. And that's where the whole fear of technology comes from. The fear of the whole alien thing comes from. I mean, if you look at the arc of the technology boom, go back to when it was, right around the 1940s, right after the World Wars. All this technology started coming out and it revolutionized things. Why do you think that happened? We knew you used a nuclear bomb, and all the ufologists say that, the UFOs came and started looking at that point. And then all of a sudden, here we go. We've got all this new technology. Where do you think it came from? Reverse engineering, potentially. But ultimately, this whole fear of both comes from our fear that we are not in control, our fear that something more powerful than us will take us over. And that's because we think that we should be in control. We think that we are the apex predator. We're the pinnacle of life on Earth. Rather than being a part of it, we think we need to dominate it.
Yeah. One, not only are you a part of it, like I said, I think the concept of who and what we are needs to be a more agreement, I feel like, across.
I think there's too much agreement. That's the issue.
Well, maybe not. Maybe there's too much agreement, but in the wrong direction.
Right. Like you said, we believe in the meat suit rather than the energetic being that we are.
Yeah.
And that allows us to only see a part of the picture. The only part that we can see is that which is in 3D. The other aspects of our existence are lost to us. So we cling to things like, technology, our idea of rightness, our idea of superiority. If you tell somebody AI is going to take over, they're afraid.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder. I've thought about this: is what happens 1,000 years from now, or however long from now, when this whole society is buried or whatever, gone. When they dig it up, if they dig it up,
we wouldn't be digging it up. What we'd become would be far different.
Yeah. What would the future's archaeologists say about us when they're trying to study us? What would they find? And the technology that they will find and the tools that they would find, like how would they, like I just imagine them finding an old memory card and it just being memes.
I'm going to tell you a secret.
And they're constructing our whole society based on memes.
I think they're going to say that we played a lot. We experimented a lot. But I don't think they're going to find a lot, because most of the things that we build will be gone inside of 10,000 years. Everything that we've built, as far as our society, 10,000 years from now, will be a forest. It'll be gone, buried under rock. If any of it exists at all. The only things that would exist would be things that were fossilized. There's a show I watch called The Y-Files, and they talk about ancient civilizations and if we're the first ones here. And I don't think we are.
No.
I mean, there's some episodes where they start showing technology that should not exist prior to our what we consider our very young beginnings as a species. And there's technology that existed that should not exist. And there's stories that existed about quote unquote advanced people who came and taught humans how to be, how to create societies and formulate these technologies that we have now. I don't think we were the first ones here. And some say they're aliens. I just think there was a society that was before us that left remnants that are,
some
part of our history.
Still be here, possibly.
Well, we're going returning. That's a whole other show.
It is.
That's a whole other show.
It is.
So I think we fear too much our own technology because we fear who and what we are.
And it's roundabout going the opposite way when you're really running in a circle.
Well, yeah.
Because you got to eventually run right back into yourself. Right now, you're running head first into a mirror.
Well, it all depends on what you believe is true about humans. I believe that we are integrally, at our base level, we are good. We simply want to survive and to live and to be happy. And I think that is the baseline for what we actually are. Everything else, the violence and the sickness of this world, comes from fear and pain and lack and greed. Those things are all born from illusions that we have about who we are. When we get down to the baseline truth of us, humans are all right. Because if we weren't, we'd be gone already. We've had the capability for, a couple hundred years now to destroy ourselves
multiple times over.
Right. And they
have to actually set limits for it. It's like, you could only destroy the Earth. You only have a weapon that's strong enough to destroy the Earth 36 times over or something. Yeah. It's like, dude, it only takes one. Yeah, but we have to set the limit because otherwise they have some that can do it 75 times, 100 times over. And it's like, wow.
Let's put it this way. If certain weapons were detonated into the atmosphere of this Earth, you would blow away the ozone layer and all life on Earth would end. I mean, we have the capability to destroy ourselves, but we're not. This is actually the least violent time of human existence. And as technology increases and poverty becomes less and lack becomes less, and the baseline becomes whether or not you have luxuries rather than whether or not you can survive, when that technology becomes the norm, I think we're going to be just fine. I generally gauge it between two things. One, we're either going to become the Galactic Empire, okay, or the Federation. Okay, I think we're headed towards the Federation because I think humans are integrally good. Those who are in power, who are insane and rich and who want bad things to happen, they're going to do their dirt for as long as they can, and eventually they're going to go away because we're headed towards an enlightenment that is non-technologically based.
I wouldn't even say headed towards. It's already started.
Yeah,
it's already started, and the side effects of which, again, probably another show.
Absolutely,
definitely another show. But technology has been. I remember I was maybe 9-10 years old. And I had a headset with virtual reality, right? And it was like a little racing game. And you can use your fingers, to control. But it was all 2D. It was like 8-bit. Yeah, it was 8-bit technology style. But it was still somewhat immersive while playing it, And now to see it evolve. We're talking about this is the 90s. You know what I mean? So now we're seeing this evolve into what it is now. It's like, what are we? You know what I mean? Like the fact that we're even able to come up with things like that and advance our world and that, and the stuff like the Apple goggles. So I keep forgetting what exactly they're called. It's going to become a common piece, just the same way they did with the iPhone, the smartphone, the iPod. Where essentially, I don't know, we might get to the point where the iPod is literally just a pod where you live and send out your avatar.
Well, and that's that. I guess that's what. I'm kind of dating myself here. There was and I don't know if it still exists. There was a game called Second Life that I saw when I first saw it. I was like, that's the future. And, people were like, well, not many people play it, only certain select groups of people play it. And I'm like, yeah, they did. But that was the beta version. I wouldn't say beta, I'd say it was more the alpha version.
I know what you're talking about.
But in that world, you can take on whatever avatar you choose. You can build a house. You can provide a service. You can sing. You can be a nightclub singer in this world and get paid to actually, people will come and watch your concerts and pay to watch your concerts. You can, be a performer. You can create digital clothing and you can build houses as a job.
Next level Sims.
Right. It's a next level Sims. That is the foundation upon which this new future technology is being based. If you watch Meta and what they're doing with the metaverse, it's insane. It's insane. They're building an entire world.
Oh yeah,
in virtual reality.
So where even jobs, your entire job can be
right
online. Your meetings are there in Meta.
Right. Like, you no longer have to go into the office because you can step into your life pod or work pod, get into your work pod, and while you're in there, you're in your work environment without leaving your house.
Man, going into your iPod. That's connected to your iHome.
Well, that's why Apple is evil, but that's me. I don't like all that integration. Man. I like the ability to take a thing apart and make it what I want it to be.
Who would you? I got a question. Who would you rather prepare your meal? Siri, Alexa, or Rosie?
None of the above. Because did you hear that?
I did. Maybe that was my Siri. Oh,
they're listening.
Wow.
They're listening.
No, Rosie from the Jetsons.
I would prefer to have Jaderic, my cook, go in and make my meals because it's like I told my wife, there's an element that goes into cooking that is non-tangible. It has nothing to do with the ingredients. It has everything to do with the love you put in it.
I would say there's a reason why grandma or mom's cooking hits a little bit different.
Then you can go to a 5-star restaurant, great chef, but he don't know you.
No,
he don't know you like grandma know you.
And that ain't auntie. That ain't auntie
You know
in
what
the
I'm saying?
kitchen. Auntie is not in the kitchen. Uncle is not on the grill or in the kitchen. That ain't. It's different when your family or your loved ones are the ones that's cooking for you. Like,
it hits different.
It does. It does. I've even noticed the difference in, I love being in the kitchen. So
right.
I'll cook. It's different when I'm cooking the food versus the restaurant. It's just like, I took my time with this. Like, I put love into what I eat because I like to eat. I want it to taste good, look good, all of that.
And even the flaws are what make it. When you put a little bit too much salt here or a little bit too much sugar there or whatever, but it's got your own little thing. The things that make a recipe great aren't the things that are necessarily going to make it, what a robot would make, because you need this amount of ingredients for this and this amount of ingredients for that and so on and so forth.
Yeah. That
precise recipe. Not to mention, who wants the same thing to taste the same every single time you make it?
I wonder how it would look if AI created the recipes.
Well, I'm sure it would be good. The only issue is it's never tasted anything. It can't determine what's good. It can only match or mirror that which a human has already created. So the creative spark is what makes us great. The technology is just the instrument by which we use that we implement that creative spark. So I don't worry about technology because, technology is going to take over. The best AI in the world, the best AI supercomputer in the world has the brain of like a 3-year-old at best.
So before we get out of here, I have a question.
Go for it.
Where are we in the race for man's best friend? Between dogs and technology.
Oh, tech, easy.
Over dogs?
Easy, all day.
Over the good boy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't know. Dog community might have, something to say about that.
Well, I'm a cat person, so that's why. Now, see, don't get me wrong. Nothing will beat a cat sitting in your chest, purring and licking your nose. There's nothing that will beat that ever. The best technology in the world can't mirror that. Life will always win. No matter how advanced technology becomes, life will always win. Because technology can't self-reproduce. It can't duplicate itself in the infinite diversity with which nature can duplicate itself. So nature will always win.
Fair enough. I would agree. Nature will always win, even though we're running towards technology head first.
We got to trip first
with our eyes closed. I'm happy for it. I'm excited about it. And I think it's going to actually lead us back to finding ourselves more.
Yeah.
Because people will start to catch the hint. Not that you have to necessarily completely discard technology, but realize what the natural technology is as well.
Well, last thing before we go. This is the thing that I want everybody to take away from this. Technology is a tool designed to make life easier so that we can explore those things that are beyond the daily toil. That's all it's for. So don't fear technology. It's just there to make life easier for us so that we can get back to what and who we are.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes your lessons in deeper wisdom. All right, y'all. Think higher and follow the light bulbs.
Peace.
Peace.